Hello, everyone, and welcome to a vodcast for the Africa Hotel Investment Forum podcast series, which is actually now looking at the topic of My Africa. And I'd like to welcome today David Harper, the founding partner of Hotels Partner Africa. David, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed, Matt. Great to see you. I was asked to talk about My Africa. I mean, clearly I'm not from Africa. And so I just thought I'd give you a little bit of background about why I love the continent so much. I've been going to Africa since I was a boy. But my first big trip was about 16 years ago. And I went to Africa for about a year, East and Southern Africa. Those were in the times, when the genocide in Rwanda happened, when apartheid finished in South Africa. That was where I was. It was that sort of era. And it was just absolutely great fun. On the left-hand side of the slide there, you can see a slightly out of focus picture of a truck. I was on one of those trucks that went round for about 12 weeks before I then started backpacking and going around through myself. Went to all the great national parks, jumped off Victoria Falls, as you can see there in that picture. It was just a wonderful, wonderful time. I suppose the question is, what does Africa mean to me? So, Matt, if we flip on a few slides, Africa is one of the most mixed continents you can ever see. It is full of excitement. It is just absolutely amazing. I mean, the first thing to talk about are the cities. And on the right photograph here, I want to share a story with you. This is a picture of a hotel, which is Freddie Mercury's old house. Freddie Mercury was brought up in Zanzibar, Tanzania. What's remarkable about this picture is 2 years before, Freddie Mercury's house was about 5 doors down, and they moved it to this hotel, possibly so that then they could start selling the Bohemian Rhapsody suite or the Fat Bottom Girls room, that type of thing. It was basically just a marketing tool. So the fact of where Freddie lived, sort of irrelevant. We'll just move it to somewhere that can make money from it, which is typical of Africa. I love that sort of entrepreneurship. I think it's really good fun. We flip another slide for me, Matt.
Yeah, of course. And I guess from your travel, obviously, I don't know if our viewers know, but David is massively travelled. I must be finding it very difficult with not getting on a plane at the moment. But it also, I get these are all your photos, and the reason why I've sort of asked you to do this as well is to sort of talk about the photography, because I got the impression that Africa also sort of inspired you to capture a lot of the images.
It is really difficult to take bad photographs in Africa. Africa is just full of really exciting images. It's the sort of place you smell it, you taste it, you see it. It is something that gets under your skin. It is just a really exciting continent. I love taking photographs. And as you say, yes, I am well traveled. I've worked in over 180 countries. And I mean, my company's worked in 52 of the 54 African countries. We've pretty much got, really detailed geographic knowledge. And it's not just the major cities. It's pretty much everywhere that we go, which is part of why Africa is so exciting, because there is so much to see. The next slide shows slightly different parts of Africa. So you've got, on the left-hand side, just a really cool, trendy bar in Nairobi, one of the more established cities. And then on the right, you've got Juba, which is notionally a city. It's sort of like, it's in the middle of a war zone. It's struggling. But in an African way, it's coming forward. It's driving itself on. There is just so much to see in this place. It's just, and of course, Miss World, that was always worth doing. Here we go, 2 more pictures, typical. So
I love this picture on the right. That's
right. This is a sofa shop. Basically speaking, would you like to buy a sofa? All through African cities. I mean, this one's in Freetown, Sierra Leone, but almost anywhere you will find open-air furniture shops.
And these things are covered. It really shows the sort of entrepreneurial spirit, doesn't it?
Absolutely. But I love the Uber on the other side. It's like, this is technically an Uber. So you'll sit there and you may well actually be offered a helmet as well when you jump on the back of this boda riding all across the pavements in Kampala. But it's just, it is that level of, right, how can I make this work for me? How can I earn a crust for the family? It's really quite exciting. But it's not just about cities. I mean, most people's thoughts about Africa are safari. And I've got to be honest, I have been incredibly lucky. I have been on safari so many times because I have to do safari lodges as part of my job. You know, there are 268 national parks in Africa, and there are so many beautiful experiences. Talking about the photography, you can't go wrong here again.
Well, exactly. I was going to say, if there's any place that brings out the photographer in anyone, it's when you go on safari.
A lot of times when I'm traveling now, I just carry an iPhone with me. But if I'm going on safari, you do need a proper camera with a decent lens. And the longer the lens, the better. But it's just, yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I think I've got a couple more shots just next door on the next slide. But that's, you know, so here we've got...
Is that the crossing?
But that was where the crossing is, but not at the time of the crossing of the Mara. Basically, you've got that migration, which is arguably the biggest mammal migration in Africa, well, in the world. But everyone always thinks about the 2 months where they jump across the river. These things are, you know, on the migration for the whole year. It's just they're in different parts, but it's always that moment where they cross the river where you've got the crocs trying to feed on them. That's the bit that grabs you. That's the bit that gets the television. But it is a stunning thing. I mean, when you turn up on the Serengeti Plains and you see a million wildebeest walking along, it's just, it blows your mind.
And the noise.
The noise is quite phenomenal. It's just, if you're in close to that, it's like you can just hear it. I think this picture here might have actually been in the Ngorongoro crater. And that is just, it's sort of about 12 miles wide. Lovely little park where you've got pretty much all animals contained within there. Because of the steep slopes, they don't leave very often. And yeah, sometimes it's a bit like being in a taxi queue, waiting to have a look at the lions or whatever. But I was all alone with these wildebeest walking past in just one of the most surreal things where I probably had about, I don't know, 300 of the things just walking past me slowly. And it was just like phenomenal being nowhere near anywhere else. On the left-hand side, I think we're in Naipans in Botswana. And, you know, you've got 3 gorgeous cheetahs here just sat there, just having a look, mum and 2 daughters, just looking out for me to see what I'm going to do, etc. You can't go wrong. It is absolutely stunning. As long as you don't go on safari expecting I'm going to see my lions now, then I'm going to see my cheetah, then I'm going to see my leopard. If you just turn around and enjoy what you see, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, and certainly relaxes you. I remember being immediately relaxed.
But no, for me, I mean, Africa is all about cultures. As you said, I love traveling. Okay, one of the things that I think is educational about traveling is you see there is not just one way to do things. You know, everyone does things so differently. And this page just shows you a couple. This is all dancing. This is all, quotes, traditional dancing. We've got Swaziland on the left. We've got a bit of Lagos in the middle. And then we've got Guinea-Conakry on the right. And it's basically, there's no right or wrong way. You know, it's like things can be done differently. And it doesn't mean that you're right with your preconceived ideas of how you should get something done. So here we've got, this is actually a really interesting concept. So I am brought up in England and I'm told that if I have a child, if I'm the father, it's because I'm biologically the parent. The Nuer tribe on the left here, they transfer bloodlines and heritage through cattle. So if I get married and I take a wife and I pay the bride price and I give her 6 cows, any children she has are my children. Even if I'm dead, any children she has are my children. I am the father. If I'm a woman and I cannot have children, but I still want to have children, I can become the father myself by buying myself a wife, paying the bride price to their family, and then any children that come of any union she has with men are my children. Now, who's to say that is wrong and the way that I was brought up to think about parenting was right? It's just different, absolutely different. And I think that's quite interesting. I also love the scarring on the face here. What happens, you take a razor blade or you take a knife and you prick your skin and then you rub some dirt into it to make sure it gets infected. The longer it stays infected, the more bobbly it will be. And if you've got a really bobbly skin, you are more sexy. It's unbelievably passionate, I'm told. Um, here we've got another couple.
And now
of
we're
examples.
into the sort of.
Well, absolutely. So on the right, I was in Sudan 6 months after Bashir was thrown out of power and put into his new presidential palace, which is the jail. And I was meeting these nomads in the desert who didn't actually know he was even in power, let alone being thrown out. It's a completely different thing. I've got just a different culture where all I care about, all I want from the government is to make sure the price of camels stays high, and I can make money, and I can do my business. That's all they care about. No interference. Just don't ruin my markets. On the left, this was the Mescal ceremony in Ethiopia, and I felt like a rock star. All of these gorgeous girls were coming up to me, desperately trying to take selfies with me, just for their social media pages. And I was like, man, wow, this is what it feels like to be Mick Jagger.
Stunning photo.
But honestly, it was the most amazing thing. You've just got something like about 30,000 people walking through the street, holding candles, holding their crosses, dressed up, some beating drums. It was just phenomenal. And the ceremony.
Was that this year?
That was
because last year.
Last year, 2019. Yeah, I haven't been doing a lot of travelling this year, Matt. It's been quite difficult.
No,
I know.
Spot the deliberate mistake there.
Not been a career criminal, because I feel this feels like this is jail to me, not being able to get
I'm
out.
sorry, this must be very painful. Let's move on, like, and let's think about the coastline.
Yeah, so, I mean, everyone always talks about Africa and talks about the beaches. That's where people want to go on holiday. Well, there are some absolutely stunning places that no one knows of. The one on the right here is Somaliland. You don't think of Somaliland as a beautiful beach paradise, but it is. If you slip to the next slide, you've got, slightly different things. So basically on the left here, you've got a working beach. This is... I
love watching the working beaches,
Cape Coast in Ghana. Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Go there, trying to buy fish. It's just really vibrant, really noisy. All of your senses are exploding. Or on the right, none of your senses moving. You just sat there enjoying the water.
Where's that?
All on your own. That's Pemba. So that's one of the islands off Zanzibar. And it's a stunning place. It really is, and undeveloped and beautiful. And actually, I'm selling a site there. So if you fancy buying something with about...
There you go, David. Never miss an opportunity.
Seafront, we'll be all right, won't we?
It's a nice place to be selling a site.
Absolutely.
And then, of course...
and then we've got some mountains. Yeah. I've been lucky enough to climb 4 of the 5 biggest on the continent, but the one on the left, Matt, I think I can see you. I think you're fielding at mid-wicket there.
Yeah, just dropped the ball, I think, once or twice.
Yeah, no, that was good fun. Just in case you guys don't know, Matt and I went up to the top of Kilimanjaro and we played a game of cricket there for cancer research for Tusk, which is a conservation, and then for a foundation promoting cricket in Rwanda. And it was a world record, and Matt played exceptionally well, I seem to remember, which is all nice.
Standard.
Whereas my bowling was a little bit disappointing.
But that is...
I went for a whole run off my over.
It's a stunning photo, and it just goes to show that, this is the diversity of Africa. That is played at near 6,000 meters high, and we're stuck in a crater there, and you can see the ice on the glaciers in the foreground. So it's absolutely amazing.
That was just some snowdrifts. The glaciers are the other side of us, so there where the cameraman's standing. But yeah, no, it's
I think you can see those bits at the top there. That's a glacier.
No, that's not. I promise the glacier's this side.
Okay.
That's going out towards Gilman's Point down that way. And we're standing here almost at Stella Point, which is with our backs.
There are enough. I mean, I have to say though, this whole. I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were saying that actually, the future potential for African travel now is perhaps the younger traveller who wants experiences, who wants excitement, wants adventure, and I do think that there's a potential here for the industry to sort of say, look, how can we appeal to that market now, who are still willing to travel. They're not so vulnerable to COVID as an older generation. So these sort of activities, immersing people in adventure and isolation and that sort of thing is a real strong possibility.
Africa is just full of so many discoveries. There are so many hidden secrets, and that would be perfect for younger travel. I've got to be honest, I was a kid when I first went to Africa and did my year round. And it was part of that, okay, I am here for adventures. I want to meet people. I want to immerse myself in a culture. I want to go and do all the crazy things that you can do. And there's definitely a market for that. The only problem with aiming for that younger market is the disposable income. How much disposable income do they have, and are they there? Here on the left-hand side, that's me in Guinea-Bissau. There's some islands off Guinea-Bissau which are just the most surreal, absolutely gorgeous place. I mean, this was typical of the afternoon sun. It seemed to mist over, and it was just the most beautiful light you could see. Also a little bit scary. I kayaked over to this island, went for a little walk there, and I had two experiences on that island. The first one, I met a fisherman coming along. He was wandering along. He had about 5 fish on his shoulder, and he was walking stark naked, except for yellow welly boots. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit strange. The yellow welly boots are because the stingrays in the water there, they're vicious little things, so they come up and attack you, and they really hurt. So the welly boots give you some sort of protection. And then the other one was I was walking along and I saw this. It looked all the world like a cobra, 2 meters long, rearing up, giving me some anger. And I went back to the people on the main island and I said, oh, I saw this snake. And they said, oh, yeah, we've got these snakes. They're very dangerous, etc. You should stay away from them. I'm like, what are they called? Oh, they don't have a name. I'm going, you've got this 2 meter long poisonous snake and you can't be bothered to give it a name.
Most people would call them run. And,
I was about to say.
Run and jump.
And then the other picture is just the ongoing locust infection.
Yeah, that's a real challenge at the moment. But a wonderful photo. Well done with that one.
It's all right, isn't it? It gives you a flavour for what it's like. Then, for example, on the left, Cameroon, you can go swimming with oil rigs if you choose to. On the right, you can go and have a look for the Holy Grail in Ethiopia. It's just, there's so much to do. Next slide, we've got, you might go and try and find the best place to look at Victoria Falls from. I mean, almost every angle it's stunning, but
it is. It's
your own spot, haven't you?
Place.
Or on the right, going to try and buy your fish. It's like, let's go and discuss it. That one is Cape Coast. So just a little way away from Accra in Ghana. It's just the most vibrant place.
Look at the colours on that.
Sell all the slaves from. And so you've got these old slave castle places where they used to be sent through on the boats. And it's a really evocative place. Yeah, on the left here, so we're looking at Algeria. You've got a Roman ruin that is as good as any Roman ruin you will find anywhere in the world.
And
but
probably
you don't have
less populous for travellers.
It's gorgeous. Honestly, it's heaven. You go there. I mean, I was going through Algeria and like this policeman, it was a traffic cop, he turned around and stopped everything, pulled a taxi over and insisted that the taxi take me and him to a coffee shop so he could sit and chat to me. It was just like, it was phenomenal. At first I thought I was being arrested, but no, it was like, I want to buy you a coffee. Or on the right, this is Sao Tome. They produce some of the best chocolate in the world. And it's just, but no one goes. It's like, I think Sao Tome has something like 1,000 different people. On the left here, you're in Gambia. These are like old ancient standing stones, a bit like Stonehenge that you'd know of. And it's just like, no one there.
And then the hyenas.
On the right, this is feeding hyenas, wild hyenas. Would you like to feed them by hand or by mouth? And basically, you can kiss a wild hyena here.
I don't know.
It's scary considering.
No wonder he's smiling. He probably looked at your nose, David.
Yeah, I know. They're a bit scary. So here you've got a mannequin shop, which I just think is amazing. I just loved all of the different outfits, just all lined up. Absolutely stunning. On the right,
turtle eggs, I guess.
Yes, yeah, Equatorial Guinea. So I was on the island, basically helping count the amount of turtles that came up and who laid and who didn't, and we're putting it in as part of our survey for the Wildlife Fund. It was absolutely wonderful, really amazing. But all of these things are available in Africa. There's just so much you can do and see. I thought I got rid of that slide. That's basically just the market here. On the right-hand side, you've got
just lovely
taking back a harbour. is basically just, that nature's going to take over again and just show you that, doesn't matter how hard we try, nature will win in the end. It's great. So, yeah.
Places you still want to see?
Well, there's a couple of places I'm due to go to. So I was meant to be in Mauritania the week of lockdown, and it got cancelled. And the other one's Chad. I mean, these are places where I've got work waiting to do. Obviously, we've got Tanzania and Kenya and all those as well, where I've got people lined up for when I'm allowed to travel. But yeah, actually, what's next is, obviously, I'm going to continue with the work I'm doing, but I'm writing a book at the moment, Matt, about some of the travels I'm doing around, and I've just about completed the first one of the series, which is tentatively called, let me see if I can remember this, Penis Thieves and Pyroclastic Flows, The Perils of Travels in the Horn of Africa. And I'm very happy
saying that after a few
about penis thieves whenever you need it.
Well, look, thank you, David, for coming today and sharing this, and the photos as well. I know you put in a lot of effort and stuff for the purpose of today as well. So thank you for joining.
My pleasure.
And thank you for sharing your Africa.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you.